Hi everyone, it's Jordan again, and for today, because of the snow-themed vlog I did last week, a good friend of mine saw that and he gave me something that kind of ties into that and is kind of like that in a way to do for today's vlog. So that's what we're going to do. And side note, we're actually supposed to get more snow here later today, which completely blows my mind, and I'm so excited. But if you can tell, that's why I'm dressed up in probably the warmest clothes that I have, and I'm still freezing out here. So anyway, on that note, let's move on. This is called the blessing of the dew. Now each time I mention the word dew, I'm talking about D-E-W, the weather type of dew, the little water droplets on the ground in the morning, that type of dew, not anything else, just so you can follow along a little bit clearer. As I read part of this, thank you to the friend who gave it to me. The word dew appears 34 times in the Bible, and it is primarily seen as a blessing. Rain will always catch our attention, as anyone caught out in the rain would know. Snow will snow, by the way. It can be heard in the pitter-patter of raindrops or the pummeling of a heavy shower. Dew, on the other hand, is silent. It does not draw attention to itself at all. It can be seen as a more humble, unassuming version of rain, never causing damage, always being gentle, nourishing, and dependable. Dew often goes unnoticed, and we need to make an effort to become aware of this subtle gift from God that speaks of His steadfast love, His mercies that come new every morning. As with so many concepts we read about in the Bible, the first time it is mentioned is key in understanding its significance. In Genesis 27:28, Isaac blesses Jacob with these words: "May God give you of the dew of heaven, and the fatness of the earth, and plenty of grain and wine." Dew in the Bible speaks primarily of bounty and divine blessing. It is seen to descend along with manna and the quail that God provided for His children in the desert, and is likened to Moses' teaching. It is a refreshment, a gift, and a message from heaven, a source of life. The blessing of rain is well known and understood. God sends rain as a blessing and withholds it when He wants to correct and draw Israel's attention back to Himself. Not only is rain a blessing conditional upon behavior, it can also be a curse if it is the wrong type of rain at the wrong time. A heavy downpour can destroy an entire crop of wheat or barley if it comes too late in the season. But dew, on the other hand, shows up every morning, unconditionally, and it is always a blessing. It sustains, bringing gentle nourishment to the earth. Whether or not we pay attention to it, the dew is always there, regardless. However long we may have ignored it or been oblivious to its presence, it appears day after day, no questions asked, just like the unconditional love of God. Have you ever noticed the dew before? I was trying to think about it, and I don't think that I have. Maybe it's because I get up too late in the mornings. Maybe it's because there's just not that much of it down here. Maybe I just ignore it. I don't know, but dew's not something that I really take time to notice that often. Do you? It's so interesting to me to read that it's still there. It's still constant, even though I may or may not notice it. I might just blow right past it. But do you remember how we were talking last week about the snow and how I was saying that everything in creation speaks about God and worships God if we will only listen? Everything in creation points to God if we will only look for it. I love this because this is an example of that in a way that I never would have thought of, in a way that I don't think any of us would have thought of, because it's such a subtle little thing that we all just brush right past, right? But if we take time to look, what will we see? Look at all the beautiful parallels to God in here. Whether or not we pay attention to it, the dew is always there. It appears day after day, no questions asked, just like the love of God. And it reminds us that His mercies are new every morning. I love that verse. If I remember correctly, I think it's Lamentations, and I think the next part says, "Great is His faithfulness." His mercies are new every morning. Great is His faithfulness. That's a beautiful verse and a beautiful reminder to me of just how faithful God is. Every morning. Every morning. Not mornings where you feel like you've done pretty well. Not mornings when you think you've got this. And then on the mornings when you're just crushed, he decides he's not interested. Every single morning, his mercies are new. Every single moment, he's with you. And this is something that I've never even thought about before, but the dew reflects that. And it occurs to me, if I've missed that, how many other blessings does God give me throughout the day that I completely just overlook, that I completely just dismiss and blow off and say, sorry, I'm too busy to stop and look. I don't even care. I'm sorry. Do you do that too? Are there blessings in your life that God's trying to give you that maybe you are missing? Maybe it's the blessing of God himself. Maybe it's God's presence that's always there. Just like the dew, it's there. But you can just push it off. You can just steam past it. I hope we all can take the time to stop and see those blessings. The big ones, the little ones, the in-between ones, they're all important to God. God planned each one of them specifically for you. And if you look into each one of them, you'll probably find reflections of God in each one of them, like we did with the most unsuspecting one I could possibly think of, the blessing of dew in the morning. Something so small and minimal in my eyes, and something so easy to just look past, is something that God chooses to use to reveal his character. If we'll just look for it. If we'll just take time to stop and enjoy it and thank him for it. Something as simple and small as dew can point to the steadfast love of Jesus Christ. So look for that in your own life, and as you go throughout your own days this week. What are the blessings that I'm missing that God's trying to give me? As I said, maybe it's just spending time with God. Maybe that's the blessing that you keep pushing off. If that's the case, let me just encourage you. God's blessings are all around. And I hope that we all combined, myself very much included, we all try to look more and more for those incredible blessings and those incredible gifts that he's trying to give us, that we just have to have open eyes to see, and we just have to be receptive to. All right. God is good all the time. I love you guys. I seriously think it's starting to snow right now, so I'm gonna go enjoy it. Love you guys. Bye.